This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, all. So in the last class, we have seen the topic called initial flow of execution. I will just write the initial flow of execution once again, and then from there, we'll continue to the topic called complete flow of execution. Initial flow of execution. So what is initial flow of execution? The sequence of files that get executed when you run the application with the project created by SAP Web IDE. So this is called initial flow of execution. Okay. So the sequence of files it starts with index.html. So inside the index.html, the first thing it should do is SAP UI file runtime. It will load runtime libraries. And then it loads a shell, which is the background application container. And inside the shell, it loads the file called component.js. And the component.js will load manifest.json file. Manifest.json file has a root view configuration. And that root view configuration is loading your first view.xml. So this is what in our last class. Okay. I will just show you this flow once again. So the first file index.html, you can see here. And inside it loads SAP UI runtime libraries from line number 10 to 17. And then it loads shell at line number 23. And then inside the component container is responsible to check for the component.js file at this particular under this folder, and this folder is nothing but web app folder. So directly under the web app folder you have component.js file. So component.js will get loaded, and inside the component.js first it get initialized. After that it make a call, it loads this manifest.json file at line number 11. So manifest.json get loaded. So we understood manifest.json in detail in the last class. Like it contains 3 sections. So all the 3 sections we have understand. And the main important section is the root view configuration. So this is the root view configuration. And inside the root view configuration, it is directly loading the file called first.view.xml. So which is nothing but, you can see the root view and the view name here. You can see com.oasis.training.oasis is batch 44 demo, nothing but web app folder, dot view, nothing but view folder, and dot first, nothing but first.view.xml. Okay. So this is basically the initial flow of execution. Okay, right. So however, with the initial flow of execution, this is suitable only when you have one page in your application. Okay, this is suitable only for one page. When you have multiple pages, this particular flow of execution has to be extended, okay, extended a little bit. So with what it has to be extended, so that is something we need to understand. Okay, now this is called as complete flow of execution. Complete flow of execution. So you might be thinking, complete flow of execution. this template cannot generate the complete flow of execution because the template doesn't know how many pages you want. So by keeping one page in mind, SAP has created this particular flow, keeping one page in mind. Okay. So now we need to extend it for any number of pages, and that particular flow is called as complete flow of execution for any number of pages. Okay, it doesn't matter, any number of pages. And in that particular flow, till here it will be same. Okay, index.html, UEFI runtime library, shell, component.js, manifest.json, root view. Till here it is same, but from here the new things will come into picture. It has to be extended with little few things. So all of you concentrate here. Here, since you have the only one page, you loaded it directly. You directly loaded it because you have only one page. But here we have multiple pages. So first what we do, we load something called view container. View container, it's a container for views. And inside the view container, sorry, one more actually. So here we load a view called application base view, okay, which is called as a application base view. So the technical name also I will write here. The technical name is app.view.xml. Okay. Inside this app.view.xml, that is application base view, we load the view container. Okay, so I will write this in a different line so that you can understand. So under the root view, we don't load any view directly. So we load application base view. The technical name of application base view is app.view.xml. And inside the application base view, app.view.xml, we load the view container. And this view container, okay, inside this view container, we will load, or we will keep or load all the views into the view container through a super concept called routing. Okay, so what is routing and all? So we have a separate class on that, don't worry. So you will understand it in a very clear-cut manner, right? So now you might be thinking, Rizwan, we thought that the flow of execution is over yesterday, so we are happy, and you again extended this flow of execution. Okay. So don't worry. Here I'm giving one example so that you can understand this easily. Okay. Why we need to extend this flow of execution. So I'm just giving some funny example, but that really suits this one. Let's say I just came to Sai Seshidhar, one of your student, okay, one of the attendee. So let's say I come to Sai Seshidhar's home and ask him to show his marriage photos. Okay, so unfortunately, Sai Seshidhar lost all the photos, but he has left with only one photo of his marriage. Okay, case number 1. So what is the case number 1? He lost all his photos, and luckily or unluckily, he has only one photo of his marriage. Only one photo of his marriage. Okay, so when I come to his home and ask, Sai, can you show me your marriage photos? Since he has only one photo, is it enough to give that one photo directly to me so that I can see it and keep it aside? Or is it required to keep that in any album and give me for one photo? Come on, guys, I need an answer here. There is only one photo of his marriage. To see that one photo or to show that one photo to me, does he require any album or anything to keep inside and give me, or he can directly give me? Direct. Okay, he can directly give me. No need to keep that in an album or anything. Nothing is required, right? That's correct. Okay, so he can he can directly give that photo to me to show that photo. Now case number 2. He has 1,000 photos of his marriage. Now, to show those 1,000 photos to me, if he keep those photos one behind the other, okay, one behind the other like cards, and give it to me, will I feel comfortable to see? Or I feel comfortable if we keep all those 1,000 photos in an album, in a photo container. I'm calling the album as a photo container here. Okay, note that point. If we keep those photos in a photo container like an album and give it to me, so which one I feel comfortable? Come on, guys. I know it's a silly question, but container, right?
Yeah.
So after all, a small scenario of showing the photos to me, you are thinking when there is only one photo, you are showing it directly. When you have multiple photos, you are keeping them in a container. Then think about a web application. When you have only one page, you are showing it directly. When you have multiple pages, obviously the architecture will differ, right? The way when you have one photo, you are giving it to me directly without keeping them in a view container, in a photo container. When you have multiple web pages, when you have multiple photos, you are keeping them in a photo container. Then when you have multiple views, you need to keep them in a view container to show it to the end user. Understood the concept? So here, from the root view, the direction, the execution will take a diversion to the view container. I will come back. What is this application based view? Don't worry. In our first case, since you have only one view, you are loading it directly with the name first.view.xml. That's it. With the name first.view.xml. That's it. Over. Finish. But here I can't load any view directly because I have multiple views. Okay. So first what I will do, I will keep all the views in the view container. So first I load the view container, and inside the view container, I will load all the views, all the actual views, okay, into the container. And which view should be visible, that will be decided by the routing. Okay, so which view to be loaded into the view container and which view to be shown, so that will be decided by a powerful concept that is called as routing, that we'll see in tomorrow's class. So this last part we are going to see in tomorrow's class, don't worry. Okay, or if you have time, we'll see in today's class itself. Now you understood what is the purpose of view container. So it is the same purpose as that of your photo album. What is the purpose of photo album? Inside the photo album, you can keep all the photos. The same purpose here. What is the purpose of view container? It contains all the views. It can contain all the views. That's it. That is the only purpose. Okay. So here the comparison is made. Photo is compared to a view, and album, I'm calling this as a photo container, okay, instead of album. So photo container is compared with view container, okay, right. So the technical name of view container is sap.m.app, right. Now we understood view container. We understood, like, all the views will be loaded into the view container through a powerful concept called routing. Then what is this application based view and why do we require this? See, this view container is a UI element. Container is a UI element. Just like button, just like label, just like radio button, just like a table, just like any other UI element, this particular view container is also a UI element. View container is also a UI element. Any user interface element has to be kept on a web page. Did you see any UI element in the air? Can you see button in the air without, on the web page? Have you ever seen on the air? No. Every UI element has to be kept on the web page only. You can't keep them in any other place. So you need a web page. That's why we kept something in before this view container. You can't load the view container directly without any web page. So we kept a application based view, and inside this application based view we load the view container. Okay, so this is the base. This is the base view. And in this base view you will loading view container, and inside the view container all the views will be loaded. Understood? Clear? Okay, so the only reason why we create this application base view is on top of this application base view you load the view container. This is like basement for a building, guys. If you want to construct the building, you don't construct the first floor directly. You will construct the basement first. Why you are constructing the basement? On basement only the remaining floors will stand. Okay. If you remove the basement, gone. So similarly in the web application, this particular base view is important. Okay. On this base view only you will load view container, and on top of the view container all the remaining views, your first view, second view, third view, fourth view, all those will stand. Something like basement, and on the basement first floor, second floor, third floor, fourth floor, all of them will stand. Something like that. Okay, right. Then what we are going to do in today's class, we are going to, so till here we already have, we are going to load this application based view. That means we are going to create a view with the name app.view.xml, and then we are going to load this view container, okay, inside this particular application based view. If possible, we'll also see the routing, otherwise we'll stop. Okay, right. Now I am going to create application based view, but before that there is a prerequisite. When you are performing the extended flow of execution, the prerequisite is go to your first.view.xml, and you can make a note of this point, all of you. Okay, so write it somewhere or you just make a note of it, and this is a very important point. That's the reason I'm telling you. Whenever you are working with the complete flow of execution, so in real time you will work with only complete flow of execution. You don't work with this initial flow of execution. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to remove two tags, the line number 3 and 4 and the line number 9 and 10. You need to remove these two. Okay, and this will be the skeleton of the view from now onwards. Okay, So whenever you are creating a new view, so this should be the skeleton of the new view. This should be the skeleton of the new view. Understood? So for example, I am creating another view. So I should copy this particular skeleton, only this particular skeleton. So I am repeating once again. So whenever you are working with the extended flow of execution, that is complete flow of execution, these two tags should be removed. Okay, right, and this should be the skeleton from now onwards. Whenever you create a new page, that page initially should have this particular skeleton. Okay, so I will also show you how to create a new view now. So I'm just creating a second view. The reason why I'm creating another view like second view is so that I will show you navigation from one view to another view. So in the next class, so for that I'm keeping one more view ready now. So in this process, I will also, I can also show you how to create a new view normally in the real time. See, to create a new view, you can right click on the view and go to file, new file like this. There is an option, but normally we don't use that in the real time. So in the real time, what we do, copy this view, Control C, go to the view folder, Control V. Okay, so it will say the first view is already exist. We already know. Just rename it to second. So why we are copying from the existing file? Because the empty skeleton will be copied easily. Okay, see, the empty skeleton has already copied. Whenever you have done the copy paste, you need to make sure to change the controller name. This is very important. Okay, so for second.view.xml, what should be the controller name? The controller name should be in the controller folder and with the same name, that is second. So change it with second. Okay, and this is one of the important step that you need to remember, because normally when you do copy paste, you will forget to change this name. You need to change it. Let us also change the title of the web page. Instead of I am first view, so let us write it as I am second view, just for our reference. And remaining things you no need to change. We already got the empty skeleton. Then save this. And similarly, if you want to create the controller, don't create the controller from new file option. Copy this, go to the controller folder, paste it. And again, just write second. So that we'll get the empty skeleton again. Okay. And here you need to change the file name here. So if you observe, it is still pointing to the first controller because we copied it from the first controller. Change it to second. Now this is fine. This looks fine. Okay, right. So I just shown you how to create any new view. So down the line, if you got any new view, so you can just copy the existing view and create it. Similarly, controller also copy and paste. Right. So let me delete this, remove this. Now let's get back to our flow. So we have the flow till the root view already. And inside the root view, we should not load our first.view.xml directly. We need to create another view called application-based view. The exact name of application-based view is app.view.xml. So we need to create it with the same name as per the standard of SAP UI5. Okay. So now I am creating this app.view.xml. All of you observe. So to create this app.view.xml also, I will just copy any one of the view, Control C, Control V, app.view.xml, click OK. It gets created. And let us change the controller name also to just like app. Now save this. And again, in the controller, copy any one of the file, paste it, call this as app.controller.js. So every view should have its own controller. The same principle will applicable for app.view.xml also. Okay, because it's also a view, and 1:1 relationship still valid for this particular view also. So open app.controller.js and change the file name. So you can see it is pointing to first, but it has to point out to the app. Go to file, save this. Now, one more important point. All of you note down. So write it at one place. Only for app.view.xml. I am repeating once again. Only for app.view.xml, not for other views. Only for app.view.xml, you need to remove this page tag completely. The line number 3 and 4, 5, you need to remove only for app.view.xml, not for your any other original views. Okay. So in first.view.xml, you should not remove. In second.view.xml, you should not remove. Only for app.view.xml, you need to remove. Now let us understand why we need to remove this particular page tag for app.view.xml. Okay. See, what is the purpose of app.view.xml? The purpose of app.view.xml is just to contain your view container, just to hold your view container, but not to appear as a web page on the screen, but not to appear as a web page on the screen. When you don't want to appear as a web page on the screen, why do you need a page tag? Remove it. That is the reason why we need to remove page tag only for app.view.xml. Okay, but for the remaining views like first view, second view, you should not remove. If you remove, they won't appear as web pages. Okay, only for app.view.xml, you need to remove that particular page tag because we don't require it to appear as a web page. It's a base view. It doesn't need to be shown. It's a basement. It's a basement for a building. It doesn't need to be shown. But it does not mean that the basement is not there. See, after the construction of the building, can you able to see the basement? No. But does it mean that the basement is not there? No, it's there. You can see only your actual floors, first floor, second floor, third floor, only, but not the basement. But the basement exists. It doesn't need to be shown outside. So same concept here. Application base view is like a basement for a building. It doesn't need to be shown, but the first view, second view, third view, just like your floats, which has to be shown. Okay, so make a note of this point. You have to remove the page tag only for app.view.xml because it doesn't need to be appear as a web page. Okay, right. Next. So now we need to load sap.m.app, so which is my view container. So this view container has to be loaded inside app.view.xml. I'm already inside app.view.xml. So this is app.view.xml. I'm already inside. Let's load sap.m.app. So how to load sap.m.app? sap.m.app. Okay. And normally, so we'll provide a unique ID for this. Just like, what is ID? ID is a unique ID, just like you have employee ID. Why do you require employee ID? To uniquely identify an employee or the organization, in the entire organization. So similarly, you provide whatever the ID you want for uniquely identifying any UI element in SAP UI file. So it's a common practice to keep an ID for every UI element. Okay, right. So I have given ID app. If you don't require, if you don't like this name, you can write your own name, not a problem. Okay, right. Uh, but in general, we start any ID with a two-letter word like ID, just to indicate it's an ID. Okay, right. So here, sap.yum is a UI element library, and app is the view container. Okay, so what is the technical name of view container? sap.m.app, out of which sap.yum is the UI element library and app is the view container. Okay, so most of the students, they get confused between this app.view.xml and sap.m.app because both are having same name. Don't get confused. This is a view, web page, view. Okay, its dot extension is .view.xml. Okay, but here it's a UI element, sap.m.app. sap.m.app. So don't get confused. So why I'm stressing here, because most of the students, as per my experience, they get confused between this and this because both are having app, luckily, unluckily. But don't get confused. It's a view. You can see the dot extension .view.xml, but this is not having any dot extension like .view.xml. That itself, makes the clear difference that it is a view, but it is a UI element. Okay, right. So we have successfully loaded our view container also into this particular application base view. Fine, it's over. Now we have the last step. Okay, we'll go through this last step also so that the complete flow of execution will be over. Okay, right. So now, since we have all the things in place, we need to load our views. So when I say views, I mean to say only first view and second view. That's it. These are my actual views. Understand? You don't consider the app.view.xml as a view. You consider it as a basement. It's a base view. That's it. Okay. Whose purpose is to load this particular view container. Okay. View container. So I'm just giving a comment here. Load view container. So we don't consider this particular app.view.xml. I mean to say views means we'll load the views means only first view and second view in my case, in our case. Right. So now how these views will be loaded into the view container through a powerful concept called routing. Now we are going to understand what is routing and how using the routing you can load your views. Okay, and why routing is required. So again, telling you routing is powerful and very important concept. Those people who are, want to crack the interviews, people will definitely ask you questions from routing. And those people who want to switch the company, so those people also definitely people will ask questions from routing. Okay, and even if you want to implement any, those people who want to work in the real time without understanding routing, you can't do anything. Okay, so routing. So what is routing? Uh, routing is a mechanism performed by a software called router. Okay, so routing is performed by router, and it does two things for you. So one is navigation from one page to other page. Okay, so that it will perform. And second thing is unique URL generation for each view. Okay, right. Let's understand these 2 points. Navigation from one page to other page. No, needless to explain. Okay, so I have one page. From this page, I want to go to another page. Needless to explain, right? That is navigation. So moving from one page to other page is called navigation. Okay, so clean and clear. Next, unique URL generation. This is something we need to understand. What is unique URL generation? According to web technology, a web application is called as a web application only when you have a unique URL for each and every web page inside that web application. If you don't have a unique URL for each and every web page inside that web application, you are not following one of the standard of web technology, web application. So it should not be called as a web application. Okay. And why should I have a unique URL for each and every web page? When you have a unique URL for each and every web page, you can go to that web page directly without navigating into the home page and then redirect to click on some button and then go to some other. Okay. And I can also bookmark it. So let's say I did not, I get a challenging work and I am Googling in UI5. I got a nice blog. What I will do immediately, I will bookmark it. Why you are able to bookmark it? Because you are having a unique URL for that particular web page. If you don't have the unique URL for that page, you cannot bookmark it. Understand? Okay. So I'll just give one example here to make you understand this unique URL concept, in perspective of UI5 a little more clearly. Okay, so I have a website, http://Rizwan Software Solutions. Okay, .co.in. http://rizwansoftsoul.co.in. Okay, now, so my web application contains 5 pages. The first one is the home page. To land up into the home page, the URL that you need to hit is my base URL, that is rizwansoftsoul.co.in. Okay, plus means not plus, actually I mean to say in addition. Okay, that is the meaning. Don't type plus over there in the URL bar. Okay, right. And empty, you no need to type anything. Then it will go to home page. This will take you to the home page. Okay, now in addition to this particular one, if you type /about us, this will take you to the about us page. Okay, now again, just a second, let me connect my laptop to the charger. Yeah. Yeah, so let us take 5 pages, that is enough just for understanding. Right, about us /products, okay, or our products, right? So this will take you to the products page. And next one, careers. Those who want to apply a job in my company, so they can go to this page, careers. Okay, right. And contact us. Those who want to contact, they can go to the contact page. Contact us. So this will take you to the contact page. Okay, right. So if you observe in my web application, not only in my web application, take any web application in the world, every web application will follow the same unique URL concept. So here for home page, you have this URL. For about us page, you have a different URL. In products page, you have a different URL, and so on, right? For example, I want to go to contact page. You no need to go to the home page if you follow unique URL concept. So if I remember this URL, so I can directly hit the URL, go to contact page. For example, I want to apply a job in my company. Okay, then I can hit this URL and directly land up into careers page, upload your resume. Okay, that's it. If you want to go to the home page, so this is the URL. Okay, now all of you, if you observe all these URLs, don't you think something is common in all these URLs? And what is that one that is common? rizwansoftsoul.co.in. This is common in all the URLs. That means your URLs are not completely unique. There is a common part in that particular URL, and that is nothing but your domain name or base URL. Okay, this can be called as a domain name or base URL. The only changing part, okay, we are calling this as a unique URL, but basically this is not unique, guys. It is not unique. This is a combination of a fixed URL, which is nothing but a domain name. And in addition, we are having whatever the varying thing, whatever that is changing, this is called as URL pattern. URL pattern. Okay. So in fact, I should call as a unique URL pattern. Every web page will have a unique URL pattern, not the unique URL. Not the unique URL. Why I should call it as a unique URL pattern? Because it doesn't have the complete unique. The uniqueness is only in the URL pattern, not on the domain name. The domain name is fixed and it is there for all the web pages, right? Okay. So anyway, normally in general, we call that as a unique URL complete, because the complete URL is unique. So we are calling it as a unique URL. But if you go in depth and see, the only uniqueness comes with the URL pattern, not with the domain name. Okay, it doesn't matter. Fine. So hope you understand that this is called as a domain URL and this is called as a URL pattern. Now, how your web application will load the corresponding web page when you hit the URL, how that web application will load is, so every web technology will follow a routing kind of concept. So in SAP UI5, we are calling that as routing, but in any other technology, so basing on the technology, they follow a unique style of routing. So what we do is, so in routing, we will be mapping the URL pattern with the view name. Okay. So if I want to load the home page, I need to map this page with the URL pattern called empty. And if I want to load about us page, I need to map this with the URL pattern called about us. Okay, and so on. So the view and the URL pattern both will be mapped, and that is nothing but routing. Okay, so that is nothing but routing. Routing is a configuration, guys. Routing is a configuration. So now I will copy paste a routing configuration, okay, that supports for 2 views, and I will also tell you what you need to do for the next views, everything. Okay, so pay attention. So whenever the new views come, what you need to do, so that also I will show you. Don't worry at all. So just in 5 minutes, the routing will be over. What happened? Notepad++ not opening. Okay. Okay, right. So from today onwards, you will get the project, guys. Okay, so I will send this project to you, so that I will also show you how to import this project into your web ID. So in case whatever the things you want to copy paste, you can copy paste. But I always recommend my students to do it by following the video. because if you do copy paste, you never learn. Okay. Right. Manifest.json and replace this routing. Okay. So with the one that I am giving. Okay. So both are same code only, but this is modified according to 2 pages. Right. So from line number 70 to line number 103, so this is basically your routing code. This is your routing code. So before the routing code, one small thing that we missed out is in the root view configuration, this should point out to the application base view, app.view.xml. Let us see, is it pointing to the app.view.xml or not? Configuration. If you see the root view, it is still pointing to first. Okay, so which is your previous initial flow of execution. But in the complete flow of execution, it should not point to first.view.xml, it should point to app.view.xml, right? So we need to change this one. Okay, remove first and write app, stands for app.view.xml. Okay, this one. Fine, now come back to routing. The routing contains 3 sections. The first one is called the default value section. Second one is called routes section. You will understand it, don't worry. And third section. So you'll understand clearly why these 3 sections just in a couple of minutes. Let us understand the first section, default value section. The default value section will be executed only once, okay, during the entire life cycle of the application. Router class. So I told you routing is performed by a router. So router is a software. So it was provided by a library. Okay, so it is loading that particular router at this place. So view type XML, that's obviously, and that is standard. Next, view path. View path means path to the view folder. Okay, path to the view folder. So why it requires the path to the view folder? Because the router has to take the view and it has to load into the view container. The router is responsible to take the view, and your view, I told you, the view will be loaded into the view container. So who will? Your router will pick up the view and load it into the view container. Okay, so your router should know the view path where your views are stored. Okay, so that's what we are providing here. So if you see com.oasis sorry, this path is not, since I copied from another project, so I need to replace it. Okay, and this is our path, com.oasis.training.oasis batch 43 demo pointing to the web app folder. View stands for the view folder. Okay, so you have given the path to the view folder. Okay, saying that hey Mr. Router, you can go and pick up the views from this folder. Okay, next, control ID. Control ID means ID of your view container. So again, the router is responsible to pick up the view from the view folder and load it into the view container. So you should say which is your view container with the unique ID. Okay. So what is our view container? The view container ID is ID app. So copy this and paste it here. Okay. So you are giving the information like, hey Mr. Router, this is the view path. You can pick up the views from this folder, and this is the view container. You can load the views into this view container. Okay, that's what you are doing. Control aggregation, pages stands for, so whatever you are loading are the web pages. Right. So this is the default value configuration. Next. Now it contains the sections like routes and targets. Okay, so a general equation here: number of web pages should be equal to number of routes and should be equal to number of targets. Number of web pages should be equal to number of routes equal to number of targets. How many web pages we have? 2 web pages. Okay, that means I should have, when I have 2 web pages, I should have 2 routes, I should have 2 targets, right? So if you observe here, I have 2 routes. So this is the first route, and after the comma there is a second route. For every route, you should give, most importantly, the name of the route. You can give any name. I am calling that as a first route. You should give a pattern. You should give a pattern. Okay, so normally for the very first view, just like in my web application, you can see the first view is loading with empty URL pattern, no pattern at all. Okay, so similarly here for the first view to load, I'm giving the pattern as empty. I'm giving the pattern as empty. Okay, so this is the root name, guys. This is the pattern, guys, pattern for that particular web page, and this is the target. The target indicates which view to be loaded when the pattern empty matches. When the pattern, if you hit the URL with empty pattern, okay, which view to be loaded, that is decided by the target. So whenever the pattern is empty in the URL, okay, so if you hit the application with empty pattern, then it loads the target. So what is the target name? First target. Directly it jumps to the line number 91 and it will check if the target with the name first target exists or not. Yes, we have the target with the name first target. Okay, then it loads the view with the name first. First stands for first.view.xml. So first.view.xml will get loaded. So similarly, coming to the second. So whenever there is a view, you just need to copy this, from this cursive braces to the cursive braces, you need to copy paste and add the pattern name and target. That's it. So for the second view to load, I'm giving the pattern like second view. Okay, / second view you need to give. Just like for about us page. So for second view to load, I need to write / second view. / you no need to give here. Okay. Next. This is the name of the route. Okay, for this entire route, you need to give a unique name. So it is name of the route. And target. So target is the one that decides which view to load when this pattern matches. So in the URL bar, if you hit / second view after the application URL, then it goes to the target and jumps to the line number 91. Okay, because here the second target is there and loads the view with the name second. Okay, right. And here you can see view ID. It's a unique ID for the view, and view level is the right.
Rizwan, I have a question here.
Yeah.
Can you brief me what is the difference between closed braces and parentheses?
Okay. See,
Is it right
closed.
time or maybe you can?
Yeah, it's not the right time actually. Syntax you will understand slowly. Don't worry.
Okay.
Okay. See, so at this moment that is not required. Slowly you will understand. So you just need to copy this. If you get any view, so just copy from open braces to closing braces, paste it again. That's it. Okay. But anyway, slowly you will understand this syntax when we actually start the classes. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have one more question on the same context. Suppose, can you, the question, so you said the view container, right? View container, we have multiple pages.
Inside the view container, right?
Inside the view container, we have, okay, so application view, application base view. Can you have a like a multiple, okay, one base view, one view container, right?
For any application, you'll have only one base view, one view container only. Okay, and you can have any number of web pages.
Can I split it like maybe 3 views? I can put it in a one container, and maybe
No.
the remaining 3 will keep it in a different container.
Actually, that is not required. Also, why you will keep? Just tell me why you want to keep.
To make it simple, like see, keeping like maybe 10 pages in one container, I want to split it into like maybe one container, maybe 5 pages, and one container 5 pages to make it my job easy, or maybe too readable.
Your job will not become easy actually. Okay, your job becomes difficult. And first thing is, this is the standard of SAP. See, every framework, when a technology comes, it comes with a the framework. So this is the one that framework has defined. It is not you and me which we have defined.
So that means that the framework does not allow you to have a multiple view containers to keep multiple pages. Only one app view, base view, and one container. That's it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Throughout the application.
Exactly. So if you go to .NET, so it is having its own framework. If you go to Java, Java is having its own framework. So similarly, SAP UI5 has defined this framework. Like for one application, you should have only one application base view, and inside that you load the view container, and the container can have any number of web pages. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
Right. So now, so the routing we have configured. So the routing is over. Now you can run this application. So let us test by changing the URL patterns. So initially I will give empty pattern. You no need to give empty pattern, because when the application runs, that runs with empty pattern only. So at the time, the first view should get loaded. And if I change, I will come to the end of the URL, and if I write /second view, then the second page should get loaded. Okay, let us test. Since the application is running from SAP Web ID, it will have a very lengthy URL, guys, because it includes the Web ID URL. So that's the reason the URL will be empty. But if you deploy this application to the server will create a simple URL just like this. It is one softsoul.co.in, just like a simple URL, right? Nothing but my domain name. So similarly, when you deploy this application to the server, you will get the server domain name. Okay, then the application URL will not be lengthy. But as of now, we are working, directly running from SAP Web ID. So the SAP Web ID will give you a very lengthy URL. Okay. Once again, there might be a small error. Give me 1 second. Okay, so you need, sorry guys. So here sap.yum is a UI element library, I told you, right? So here, since the sap.yum, you are already defining that in the view tag, saying that I'm going to use sap.yum library here. You should remove sap.yum here. You no need to keep sap.yum because you already defined here. Okay, so we don't write sap.yum every time. Let's say I want another button, sap.yum.button. We don't write every time. So those libraries should be defined at the top by using in the view tag itself. So anyway, that you will understand once we start our class from tomorrow by creating buttons and all. Okay. All right. Now let me refresh this application. So it should load with the first view. So that's my expectation. Yeah, so it has loaded with the first view. So why it has loaded with the first view? Because when the application executes, it executes with the application URL only without any URL pattern. So without any URL pattern means empty URL pattern. So on empty URL pattern, you clearly told to the router, hey, Mr. Router, when the pattern is empty, load the first target, and the first target is loading the view first.view.xml. Okay. Now all of you observe slash, what is my pattern? Second view, slash second view. In SAP UI5, you will separate this application URL and this URL pattern with a hash symbol. Okay, that's a that's how UI5 follows. Now, if you hit this URL, see, I'm hitting the URL with the URL pattern slash second view. It should load your second.view.xml. See, it has loaded your second.view.xml. So if you want, you can check again. So I'm removing this slash second view, Control X. So I removed it. So if I hit enter now, again, first view should get loaded. See, first view has loaded. Okay, and hit second view. Go to the end of the URL, hit enter. Second view has loaded. Okay, so that is the complete flow of execution that we understand for today's class. Hope you understood the class. Very important class in perspective of real time or interviews or switching the company. So anything. Okay. So if you have any questions, you can ask me, guys. Otherwise, you can leave for today.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, Venkatrao here. So
Yeah,
currently we are calling first view and second view is standalone, right? I mean, in the URL we have provided the first view and the second view path, right? In the pattern.
that is the pattern. The pattern will,
Yeah, that is the pattern.
Yeah, router will take care of this one. Yeah.
Yeah, but it seems to be a standalone. So then why do we need again app.view.xml?
I did not get you. What is standalone?
Based on pattern, we are calling the first view and second view, right?
Obviously.
Then why do we need again to load the views in app.xml?
See, once again, when you hit this particular pattern, okay, let's say I hit this pattern second view, then what happens? The router will check, the router will come to the pattern. Okay, what is the pattern? Second view. The one that you hit is second view. Then it go to the target. What is the target? Second target. Then it will take this second.view.xml and load it into the container, into the view container.
This is
Okay.
fine, but app.view.xml is it really required?
Yes, it is required because this helps in the navigation. So see, all the views are kept inside the view container, and because of the view container only, the navigation is happening. You can see it is sliding from left to right.
Okay.
See, for example, you kept all the views inside the, say, all the photos in the photo container album. Okay. Why you are keeping in the album? Because of two
But here in this case, we didn't put it in
navigate
album,
from.
right?
So in the
No,
photo album,
in this case, the photos are not put inside the album, right? I mean, the photos are first view, second view, right?
they are kept into the view container by the router. The router will keep those views into the view container. See, because of this configuration, first what it does, it check the pattern. Whatever the pattern is there, basing on that, it decides the target. So whatever the target is there, it is not displaying that view. It is keeping that view in the view container, and the view container will show that particular view. You can see some, sliding behavior, right? Can't you see the sliding behavior?
Yeah, we
One second.
can, based on pattern, we are calling the views. It seems to be a standalone. I mean, it is not dependent to the one view to another view.
No, see, it is navigating. So you are getting that sliding behavior just because the router will keep that view into the view container. Okay, it is not directly displaying that view. Understand? If you individually displaying the view, the navigation will not come. If I keep each photo in a different view container, you can't navigate between the photos. If you keep all the photos in a one photo album, then sliding from one photo to another photo becomes easy. Navigating from one photo
Even
to
where
other
we
photo.
could not see the any navigation, right? Directly we are calling the, by using URL, we are calling the views.
Once again, yeah. See,
No,
let me make you understand. See, whenever the target matches, so what it does, it pick up that particular view and that view, it won't display on the web browser. It will take it and keep it into the view container. Okay, so it will keep it inside the view container, and that view container will make a slide from the previous page to this page. Okay, can't you see the sliding? If you cannot able to see the sliding, you import this project and you run it from your web ID, then you can able to see. Okay, I can able to see, maybe because of video you may not able to see. Okay, so can't you see a sliding behavior here? So let me run it once again. All of you observe. Now you may find, like, you will go to the first view with a sliding behavior. It will slide to the first view. All of you observe. See, from left to right it has been moved.
Okay.
Okay, if I see, I'm giving second view. Now you can see the sliding behavior from right to left. Observe, your second view is loaded from right to left. Got it? Can you able to see?
Yeah, we can see.
Yeah, so why you are getting the sliding behavior? If you are loading that particular view directly, you don't get the sliding behavior. This is because you are keeping that view into the view container, and the view container will make a navigation to the new view. Okay.
Okay. I mean, the manifest.json, is it auto-generated code? All the routing logic?
Except routing, it is auto-generated code.
Hmm.
Is this your first class?
Yes.
Okay. So please go through the previous classes, then you will understand.
And Rizwan, I think last class you didn't post yet.
Come again, last class?
I think you did not distribute the recorded session.
Okay.
Yeah, only one class was distributed so far, and the second class was pending, and today's also pending. Yeah.
Okay. We'll take it up. Okay. So
Yeah.
we'll take care of that. Yeah, mostly today. So, and today I will send this project also, guys, so that you can import. By the way, last but not least, how to import this project. Every day I will be sending project. So how to import this project? You will get a zip file from me. You no need to unzip it. Remember, you no need to unzip it. Go to the workspace, right click, import. Okay, file and project. So whatever the zip folder that we give, so download it and browse that zip folder. Okay.
Okay.
Select it, select the zip folder and click OK. That's it.
That's it.
So that project will come and sit in your workspace. Okay, simple.
Okay. So this is it? Did you ever try on Safari?
Why any browser is
No. Any
doesn't
browser
matter.
is okay. Did you try?
No, I mostly use this office laptop. So we have Chrome and an Internet Explorer.
Yeah. I
Safari
don't
we
have.
don't try.
Okay. Okay. Let me. Okay. Maybe I'll try in Chrome. Okay.
But it will work. It is supported in all the browsers. But the preferable browser is Chrome.
Yeah, because I am familiar with Chrome and debugging from the Chrome. Never tried with Safari yet.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine, guys. Any other questions, or shall we go to close? Okay. So we'll take care of the videos and this project also. Okay, so we'll meet in tomorrow's class. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye.